What is up, everybody? Thanks for joining me again on this Analytics Friday. If you are new here, we are going to go through an analytics platform or a platform that we can use to grab data from. And we are going to use that data to make some decisions here. As always, I want to say massive thank you to StreamYard for powering this live show. StreamYard allows you to multi-stream, so I am actually streaming right now to Facebook, LinkedIn, not LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Looks like Melicia's in the house. Thanks for joining, Melicia. It's good to see you as always. So yeah, if you've not yet tried out StreamYard, most places I have that link somewhere, so feel free to go and check them out. All right, so like I said, today we are going to be talking about All the Way Hooray. Thanks for joining. User Moonlight, thanks for joining. We are going to be talking about LinkedIn analytics. So let me clean some of this stuff up real quick. All right. So this is one of my clients. Yes, I've already talked to him. Yes, he said that I could share this with you. So Mike, thanks for helping a sister out here today. What do you guys have in your cups? Coffee for me, as usual, per usual. Eric, thanks for joining. So today I'm going to be going over, I guess I'll start in the company view here. So if you have a company page, this is going to pertain to you. If we have time and if people are interested, we can go over LinkedIn, like personal analytics as well. But we're going to start here on the company page. Melissa says she has Dr. Pepper in her cup, as usual. Hey, girl, you got to get that caffeine somehow. You know what I mean? All right, so I hope everybody's had a good week. While I get started on here, feel free to drop your wins of the week in the comments as well so we can cheer each other on. Okay, so this is what a LinkedIn company page looks like. If I go to analytics here, they have updated the way that their analytics looks here on LinkedIn. You do get a brief overview. It looks a lot like the overview that you get on Facebook. So it has just a brief overview over the last 30 days. Meta Boom Mama, thanks for joining. Charlie, thanks for joining. So you have unique visitors. So these are people, how many different people looked at your page in the last 30 days, new followers, how many people have actually followed your page in the last 30 days, impressions, post impressions, as well as custom button clicks. And those buttons, if you view as a member, or whatever you have this button set to be right here, which is visit website for us. And you can see that there's this following button right here for that's where people are following. So that's kind of just the overview that's right there on the left-hand side. If we go into analytics, though, we have to select one of these sections that we want to go into. So we can look at visitors, updates, or followers. I'm going to start first on visitors. So this is people that have come to your page. So not people that have seen it in the timeline, which is what a lot of social media platforms are reporting on. These are people that have actually come to your page, which means there was no other distractions going on. They were spending time directly with you. Charlie, thanks for joining. Sir Trottier, thanks for joining. And so we can see they give you a comparison. So 30 days over 30 days, you know, we've had an increase of 16% in page views. So there have been 257 page views across all the tabs and 94 visitors. So this is kind of like, if you think of it like Google Analytics, right? Where we have page views, so how many different pages they toggled to. So on LinkedIn, they can look at your employee pages. They can look at your about page, right? So you have kind of like those subsections in your profile, in your company page. So they're counting every single one of those, and they're counting them every time somebody goes to them. So if I went and viewed the page 5 pages one time and then 2 pages another time, that's 7 page views, but only 1 unique visitor. So that's what that's how these two differ. So unique visitors and 257. So you could divide that and see that on average, people are probably looking at about 2.5 pages every time they come to the page or come to your company page. Does that make sense so far? I hope so. And then we see our custom button clicks. This is really, really important. This is something that I would definitely look at as far as a key performance indicator for LinkedIn would be those custom button clicks, because while yes, it's great to have followers, yes, it's great to have impressions and engagements, at the end of the day, we do want people to go to our website and further their relationship with us. So these custom button clicks are a good indicator, especially since you can customize them. So ours, like I said, is visit website, but you can always change that. So then we get into more of a day-by-day view. Again, if you've been on multiples of these, you know that this is one of the things that I love. I love to look at the visual and then go through and see why there are peaks and valleys, right? So I love to do that kind of thing. So in this section, we have a line graph where we are going, where it's comparing desktop and mobile. You can actually click on either of those to get rid of. So if I just wanted to see desktop day-to-day trends, I could click on mobile and mobile would disappear. If I want mobile to reappear, I just click on it again and now it's showing up. And then obviously change the date range up here. So I'm going to do the last 12 weeks, which is 3 months, pages. So here you can change if you just want to see information for specific pages on your LinkedIn company page. So you can see just the home page. You can see just the about, insights, or people page. So I'm going to keep it at all pages for now. And then you have your page views and your visitors. Again, you see the difference in this visitor highlight here. I'm going to keep this on page views for now. And I'm also going to aggregate the desktop and mobile traffic so that this chart doesn't look as crazy. And so now we have a much better trend line. So the first thing I'm going to do is hover over each of these. Sorry if you can hear my dogs. Hover over each of these peaks and see if we can start to see a trend, a daily trend. So maybe there is a day that people tend to come and visit more often. So this was a Wednesday. This was a Thursday, Tuesday, Monday, Friday. I'm going to say there's not much of a trend here. Monday, Friday, Monday, Friday. Okay, well, maybe Mondays and Fridays. Friday. Well, maybe not. I don't know. It doesn't look like there's not a very clear trend here, right? So, but I am curious what happened on Wednesday, August 12th, that got us 30 page views, which is about 172% higher than what we had gotten on Tuesday. So this Wednesday we go up 172%. That's a really big jump. So we'll get into that here in a second. And we can also see visitor demographics. So this was page views. I can change it to unique visitors. And we can kind of see the ebb and flow again of visitors. Obviously, that Wednesday was a very big peak. a Friday. And then usually page views and unique visitors have a similar trend line, right? And we can see that that's pretty true here. So I can look at the visitor demographics. Specifically, it starts with job functions. And this is really important to understand who it is on LinkedIn that is coming to your page and what do they do. So if you know that the final person that makes the decision is a CFO and you don't see anything about finance in these job functionalities, you know that the content that you're creating and the people that you're reaching aren't in line with your target audience. So you know that you're going to need to make some change. For instance, for Fleet Pal, we are looking to reach people that deal with the technology within companies, people that deal with logistics and efficiency, and people that are overall trying to make the business better, right? So business development makes sense. Sales, on the other hand, we're not really trying to reach salespeople. That's not our target audience by any means. So we might need to look into that a bit more and see why it is exactly that we are getting so many salespeople. But again, then you go operations, information technology, all of that makes sense, right? Again, you can change those and you can see that they fall. So really, which that's interesting. So if I change it to 12 weeks, sales falls into the 4th position. But if I had it on the default last 7 days, within the last 7 days, we've had a lot of salespeople coming to the page. And so maybe we need to look at what we've done in the last 7 days to kind of throw off that or like derail reaching and engaging with our target market. So that's definitely something to look at. Make sure you compare those. I didn't even think of that until, well, right now, you guys know how I roll. Even in the last 3 weeks, so all of October, it looks like we've done something to get more salespeople looking at the profile. Interesting. Maybe we need to see what we've changed in that time. So now I can also change it to location. Again, this is really important. If you have a target demographic, when you go to your LinkedIn analytics, you can see, are you reaching that target demographic? Where do these people live? We generally serve people in North America, specifically the United States and Canada. And you can see that reflected in here, with the exception of this India. So this one audience here, we've had 8 visitors from India in the last month or so. That could very easily be, you can also use this because I was just thinking that could very easily be competitors or people that are looking to offer something that we offer. So definitely look at this. It doesn't just have to be, are we reaching our target market? Who is following us? Do we need to make a shift? Sometimes that's true. Like if we think that the CTO is the person making the decision in purchasing Fleet Pal, and we see that it's more just business operations people, that's something that we need to consider and could potentially impact our overall marketing strategy, right? So all of this information, again, is only useful if we use it. It's nice to have data, but it doesn't do anything unless you're actually taking it in. So again, location, you can see seniority. Most of our people are entry level. Does that really make sense for what we're trying to do? But at the same time, LinkedIn, there are a lot of entry level people on LinkedIn, and those are the people doing a lot of the interaction and stuff like that as well. If you are like doing a hiring campaign at the time, this is probably a good thing to see, are all these entry level people. Louis 15 Jewelers. I wanted to say hi. You're super smart and I appreciate your content. I have to go, but I'll keep watching and learning. That is awesome to hear. Thanks so much. And thanks for stopping by. Okay. So that's seniority. Industry, our main industry is transportation. Some of those people might have their own IT consultation or consultancy. I mean, so that makes sense. Some venture capital. Oh, that's exciting. I'm gonna have to let Mike know about that one. Oh Lord, my computer's doing crazy things. Hold, please. Can you guys still see my screen? Yes. Okay. Oof. I just got a call in the middle of that, so that was weird. Anywhoosies. So logistics, supply chain, again, all this makes a lot of sense. And then the last one you can see is company size. Again, a lot of times, this is one of those things where we think that we know what we need to do, who we want to reach, what companies are going to use it, how they're going to use our product, right? And that just might not be the case. So looking at these company sizes, you might find that you're actually reaching much smaller or much larger businesses than you had assumed were going to want or need your product. So again, make sure that you're looking at this and do it comparatively too. Maybe once you start doing more thought leadership type content, you'll see there is a shift in company size. So maybe you go from reaching people with 11 to 50 employees to 200 to 500 employees, right? And that can be really good for business. So definitely something that you want to keep in mind, and using these time ranges and changing them up to see how the content you're creating is impacting who you are reaching and bringing to your page. Okay, so that's all about the people that are coming to your page. The updates, though, that's really what I like to look at, because this is a indicator of how your content is doing, right? So these are for your specific posts that you are posting on LinkedIn. So let's take 1 second real quick and welcome some more people into the live. I'm actually live on TikTok right now as well. This is the first time I've done that, so they can't see the screen, but there are still some people over here hanging out with us. So we've got Brooklyn. How are you today? I'm great, Brooklyn. Thanks for asking. Thanks for joining us. Halala Sweets, thanks for joining. Wichita AE, thanks for joining. My Ginger's in here. Thank you for joining as well. Chinchilla the Great, thanks for hanging out. I hope you guys are somewhat enjoying this today. Bro123, thanks for joining. All right, so let's jump into update analytics. So like everything else, it starts with a 30-day comparison. So the last 30 days in comparison to the previous 30 days, and gives you that overview of whether things are going up or down, how they're doing. And then you get your line graphs here. So this one is for impressions, and I can see there was a spike of impressions on Tuesday. So we'll take a look and see what we put out on Tuesday, and then again on Thursday and another Tuesday, and starting to sense a theme here. This was only the last 14 days though. So let's go ahead and do the last 12 weeks. Wow. Okay, so this was a Monday. This was a Monday. Okay, so Mondays, that's interesting. We have a massive spike here. You can see that they do compare, they plot both sponsored and organic content on here. So you see this massive spike because we boosted a post for about 3 days, it looks like, during that time. But you can, like we aggregated desktop and mobile traffic, we can aggregate the sponsored and organic traffic, but you get a lot better picture of how your content actually performed if you do those two things separately. So this is based on impressions. I'm going to go ahead and take that the sponsored content out so we can just look at organic for the sake of this view. And we can see, again, there are a couple massive spikes here that we're going to want to look at. What did we do on Monday, September 14th? And what did we do on Monday, August 24th? And Tuesday, October 13th. Those were all pretty big days. So those are the impressions, high impressions though. I would imagine if we looked, we would also see a similar plot for clicks and reactions. That Monday, and that Tuesday. So what's interesting is on this Tuesday, October 13th, we had a huge spike, probably our highest spike other than when we boosted this post. We had 27 clicks, and that's the biggest spike. But when we look at impressions, by far, the biggest spike was on Monday, September 14th. So whatever we did on Tuesday, October 13th was actually more beneficial to the overall strategy because it actually drove the most clicks. Impressions, we've talked about this, are kind of a vanity metric. They don't really mean anything unless your goal is branding. So whatever we did here on October 13th, we definitely want to take a look at because it drove a lot of clicks. We can look at reactions as well. That one's kind of a bit more all over the board. Comments, really good indicator of what people find important. We can also see shares and engagement rate overall, which is a nice indicator. And again, you can see that spike on October 13th. So on October 13th, we put out this post, which is probably why we saw a lot of clicks. We put out this post that is kind of like a carousel. So it says on one picture, disruptions have ripple effects. The next picture says late pickups and deliveries frustrate customers. The next one says missed jobs are missed opportunities for revenue. And then the last one says unreliable service earns a fleet a bad reputation, right? And those aren't things that you want to do. And that encourages clicks. It encourages engagement when you have kind of that carousel. It did not publish the way that I wanted it to, but alas, it increased engagement a lot. So that's really good to see. I'm going to go ahead and update this to the last 12 weeks, and we can see overall how things performed. So we can see we just posted something, it looks like today, and so far it's only had 9 impressions, but there has been a share, and so that really threw up the engagement rate because it's pretty new and there's already been some engagement. We can see video views if we had any videos, which it looks like there's only one video on here. I'll show that to you guys. It's actually just a moving post. It's just animated text, I believe. And then we can see clicks. And so we were really excited about the clicks from this update, and that we saw a lot of clicks on that day on Tuesday, October 13th. But when we opened it, there were a lot of clicks because people were clicking on the specific pictures. So I'm not sure if there is a way. We'll export the data here in a second and see, but there's a difference between clicking on images and clicking on posts than there is clicking on a link to go to a website, right? So again, that's the reason you can't just look at one piece of data or one view, because you never really know the whole story that way. So just to show you what this post looks like, this was an animated post. Actually, this is different than what I thought. It is a video that we actually had created to talk about the product. So that's a good thing. We had 103 views. I'll be interested to see if I click on here. So this is I think this is pretty new on LinkedIn. I could be wrong, but their video analytics. It's similar to the video analytics that we see on Facebook, not near as robust, but alas. We can see total lifetime. So there are 130 views, and the total lifetime watch time was 17 minutes. So if you took 17 times 60, you would get, I don't know, some number. And then if you divide that by 130, that would tell you the average view time. So per viewer. So there are only 86 viewers and 130 views. So some of those viewers have watched multiple times, it looks like. And yes, okay, so here it is. They count a view as anything, including views less than 3 seconds. So basically, if it showed up, they're counting it as a view. So you can't really take this number. Again, you cannot take that one number as the truth or as concrete, because clearly that number is inflated if they're counting anything, including those less than 3 second views, especially because that's a 1 minute video. And so 3 seconds doesn't really do much for the company overall. Okay, so like I said, you can actually export this. I'm going to export the last 12 weeks, and I'm going to have to share my screen on this once again, because you will not be able to see it otherwise. How's everyone doing this week? Got some more people over here on TikTok. Does boosting a post work better than Facebook ads? No. Big mistake. Thanks for joining. Lindy, Code Whiz, Mount Christmas, Esperanza Henley, Coffee and Faith, Meg, K9, and Conservative Jesus. Thank you guys all for joining over on TikTok. Militia, you are a trooper, because you are still sticking this out, and I really, really appreciate it. Okay, let me share this screen real quick. Need to go to Excel. All right, so I'm going to make this a bit bigger so everyone can see. So this is what exports when you export your content data. So you see impressions, organic, sponsored, and total. Unique impressions, clicks, organic, sponsored, total, reactions, unique, sponsored, total. So all of those. Engagement rates, shares. So all that stuff you see, aggregated data. And then you get all of your posts in this beautiful format here, which is just not pleasant. You get all of your posts here, and links to them if you want to look at it. And then those each have impressions, click-through rate, comments, like, share. So it's really not that much different than what you see in the actual LinkedIn analytics view. I guess you could use that to get some of those more, or to make some of your own metrics, like how I was talking about some of the math that we could do to get better metrics. It'd be easier to do that if they were in Excel. But really, like on Facebook, when you export data, you get some other numbers. Same thing with like Twitter and stuff like that, but it doesn't look like that's the case here on LinkedIn. All right, so that's the update view. Again, you definitely want to be looking at this and going, okay, what's getting the most reach, which would be your impressions? What's getting the most interaction? You're looking at the engagement rate, but also looking at clicks. So, and then going into each of those and seeing if there were actual like clicks to go off page and go to a website, or if they're, clicks, so like there were a lot of clicks on this, but they were all to other LinkedIn pages, which again, is totally cool if you're looking to be a part of the community, which in this case we are, so that works. But just definitely something to look at, and this can help you grow not only your page if you're creating more content that helps you get involved with your community, but grow your business as well, right? Especially, I guess we didn't really talk about that on the visitor side, but understanding who is coming to your page can easily help you grow your business and your following, I guess, if that's what you're wanting to do. But by looking at those top job functions and really creating content that speaks to those people, right? And seeing if there is a difference when you post articles in who's coming to your page, or when you post, videos, what have you, or specific types of content. So, how there was just that list of like great things that happened in trucking this week. Are those kind of pieces bringing in those entry-level people when we actually want to be reaching more people in business development that have more of like a manager level, right? So understanding all of this content and how you can, or all of this data and how you can manipulate your strategy moving forward can definitely lead to some more growth. So the last thing to look at is this followers section. So here you can see your new followers on a trend line. They have that line graph. Again, you can change it. Excuse me. I'm going to do the last 12 weeks again. And we see weekly the trend of followers. And it gives you some of the people who have followed you. And so, again, you can get a better understanding. Like, all of these people work in logistics or trucking, which is exactly what we need. And they've all followed in October, which tells me whatever we've done in October so far is working, and we're hitting the right people. And they give you a lot of the same information that they do when you look at the visitor section. This is pretty similar. It's just these are people that went from being just a visitor to actually following your page, so that they can get all of your updates, which is really, really important. And then we can also look at, which is why this is under followers, I have no idea. Other companies, one of my lights just went out, sorry. Other companies that we are in competition with. So these are some of the ones that LinkedIn has identified. So like Sleek Technologies, and how are we performing in comparison to them? So it looks like our engagement rate is down a bit. But, and we have a slightly more followers. You can like go to these pages and see what is it that they're posting, what's working for them, what should we be doing. So like if we look at Sleek Technologies, they only posted 3 times in the last month, and they had a 5% engagement rate. They do have a lot smaller of an audience, so they don't have to get as many people to engage it to that 5%. But if we look, it looks like they have so this is probably what got the most engagement right here, is one of their, so like their technologies operation leader, whatever, did cliff notes of a conference that they went to. Again, that's a very thought leadership type of content. And so at Fleet Pal, we could take that into consideration when we're creating LinkedIn content and going, okay, how do we position ourselves as a thought leader? And how do we bring those high level insights to our audience, right? So maybe that's something we try. I'm going to guess that this is what drove their engagement rate up, because it's the one that has the most engagement, and it has something that people can click off to. And they use a couple of their hashtags. So look at, again, just look at what your competitors are doing and how can you use that in your own content strategy. So this one has a 9.6% engagement rate and hiring. So that's a little bit different, but they posted, that's what. Started out the day with several cups of coffee. Happy National Coffee Day. And they have pictures. So those are their employees. And they jumped on a trending National Day hashtag. So I'm going to guess a lot of these people probably are have worked with some of the people in this picture or are the people in this picture, or they enjoy coffee. There are a whole bunch of different reasons. So again, definitely something that we ought to take into consideration moving forward with our strategy. Does anyone have any questions about LinkedIn analytics, or how to use it, or what it looks like, or where to find specific things? Because really that's all that they have as far as analytics for your page. They do have more kind of analytics as far as like content that's trending in your industry, which is helpful now. And you can find content that's trending based on like a specific audience or an industry, what have you. So hopefully you can add your 2 cents and get some interaction that way. But all right, well, if not, I just want to say thanks for hanging out for another Analytics Friday. If you would like to support the show, you can either sign up for StreamYard and start using it, because that's awesome, or you can visit my Buy Me a Coffee and buy me a coffee. I actually use that money for coffee, so it is really helpful. Thanks for hanging out again today, guys. I hope that you learned something. If you have any questions on this and you're watching this as a re-recording, no, if you're watching the recorded version of this, leave a comment wherever you're watching and I'll get back to you. All right, that's all for this week, folks. Thanks, and don't forget, you're a beast.